Good evening, everybody. Today's meeting is open to the public, and a warm welcome to all of you in attendance. My name is Councillor Havey. I'm the Deputy Chair. Brian isn't here today, but he may be joining later on, so I'll be chairing the meeting. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and a big thank you to Steve from Yellow Arch Studios for hosting us this evening. So can we give a round of applause for Steve? Thank you. I'd like to also thank Brian and the team from Percy Street, who have joined us to talk about the great work they are delivering. They have brought along street furniture outside, which you're welcome to view and to speak them about. So thank you to that team as well. Before I ask other councillors to introduce themselves, I'll hand over to Sam, the committee clerk, to read out their housekeeping arrangements. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Before we start, there are just a few housekeeping arrangements to mention. Please can I request that mobile telephones and other such equipment are switched to silent mode so as not to disturb the conduct of the meeting. There is no fire test planned for today. If there is an emergency evacuation, please take instruction from the council staff present. The assembly point is just outside, back in the courtyard on the left-hand side at the back. The toilet facilities are situated just as you go through that door on the right-hand side and then through that little corridor there. The meeting today is open to the public, and I don't think we're streaming live, are we? But it will be recorded and uploaded to the council's website. You should be aware that the council is a data controller. Under the Data Protection Act, data collected during this webcast will be retained in accordance with the council's published policy. By entering the meeting room, you are consenting to be filmed and the possible use of those images and sound recordings for webcasting. Any member of the public due to speak at the meeting who does not wish to be filmed should say so at the start of their speech. The Chair will suspend the permission to film their contribution. The webcast will then only record the audio contribution. Members of the public are permitted to take photographs and to film or audio record the meeting in accordance with the protocol for webcasting, filming and recording of Sheffield City Council meetings. If anyone wishes to film or record this meeting, please make yourself known to us now. That's no. And that's all.
Thank you. Quickly, can we just take a minute to appreciate how cool this building is? It's such a beautiful building. I think we should host more meetings here. Brilliant. So next, can I please ask that members and officers around the table to introduce themselves? Is there a revolving mic? Yeah, Nessa's got it, so just go, yeah.
Hello, my name's Ruth Mercereau and I'm one of the 3 City Ward councillors.
Thanks very much. I'm Douglas Johnson. I'm another of the City Ward councillors. Hi everybody, my name's Tom Hunt. I'm a councillor for Walkley Ward.
Hello, I'm Laura McLean and I'm also a councillor for Walkley Ward.
Good evening, my name is Angela Ardento and I represent Broomhill in Shower Vale.
I'm Councillor Toby Mallinson from Hillsborough.
Hiya, I'm Barton Phipps. I'm another City Ward councillor.
I'm Henry Nottage. I'm another Hillsborough Ward councillor.
Is that everybody? Yeah, that's everybody. Yeah, brilliant. So before we proceed with the agenda, I would like to explain how the meeting will work. We will deal with some formal business to start with. We then have a number of updates on the agenda, interactive discussion, and then we'll hear the feedback from those discussions from the audience tonight. We'll then move on to public questions and answers, and finally, the minutes of the last 2 meetings, which is for the members to approve. Item number 2, apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Yeah, only ones that I received were for Councillor Christine Gilligan-Cooper.
Brilliant. And Councillor. And Brian Holmshaw, which is, yes, I did say it in the beginning. Brilliant. Okay, item number 3, exclusion of the public and press. Item number 4, declarations of interest. Do any members wish to declare any interest in any of the items of business on the agenda? Nope. Brilliant. Oh. Just in case,
Just repeat it. Sorry, I'll just say that. Just to avoid any doubt, declarations of interest, so being in the wards, I support them, love Kelham and Kayak, which you'll hear more about.
Thank you. I think that's all declarations of interest. So, item number 5, the Kelham Island Arts Collective. We have Simon, the director of Kelham Island Arts Collective, who has a presentation for us tonight. Over to you, Simon. I'll get out of the way as well.
It's recorded.
Okay. Okay, good evening. My name is Simon Wigglesworth-Baker. I'm the family director of Kayak, that is Kelham Island Arts Collective. I've got with me here Kieran Flynn, who is the operations manager for Kayak. He's the only paid member of staff. And the person who's going to wave at the back, if you'd like to stand up, is Ethan Lemon, who we will talk about a little bit later on. So, if we have the first slide, please. Okay, a little bit of history about Kayak. In 2009, I had a studio on Mowbray Street. It was a very, very cold winter, going 2009, 2010. And my wife told me that I had to move because I had 2 inches of ice on the inside of my studio. So I was looking for another place to have a studio. It just happened upon Lionworks and an abandoned gym that I was offered. So I went in there. This was early 2010, and had a huge space, tiny little studio in the corner, but a big space. And just to, strange enough, to fill it up, I built a tennis court, an indoor tennis court. We called it Factory Tennis. The irony of that is they're now just building exactly the same thing in the Old Stones Brewery, which is like, real. I was doing that 15 years ago. I wish I'd patented it, made a fortune. Anyway, after a while, I started to invite other friends and artists whether they would like to come in and join me. And that really was the start of Kayak as it is today. So over the years, we developed the space. We had the opportunity to move into the areas next door to where I was originally, which we did, and we also moved into a factory floor, which we turned into what was Gage Gallery. We also used another space as well, which became the arts and education space. So in all, we've managed to fill the whole space up. And it was an organic process. It wasn't something that was planned, and it wasn't. And Kayak, as it now is I look back and think, good gracious, how did we get to where we are now? But it was a fun journey, and where we are now is a really good place. So in total, we've got something like 12,000 square feet of art space that we operate. We have over 30 artists. We have over 30 studios. We operate within the community. We operate things like Kelham Clay, so that's a very popular clay club. We do life drawing, we do sculpting from life. We obviously have exhibitions in Gage Gallery, which you can see here. This is the old Gage Gallery, and I'll tell you about this. So this is what the gallery used to look like. This is an exhibition of mine from about 2013. If you want to move to the next slide. This is what it looks like now. So we've had some developments recently. We didn't used to have to pay for our gallery space or the arts education space, but unfortunately the roof started to collapse, and we also had COVID to deal with, so we couldn't use the gallery. So our landlord said to us, well, if you want to use the space, we'll fix the roof for you, but it means you have to pay for the space. So a big decision for us, because I've been very reluctant to overdevelop and run too far in the development of Kayak. I was always very cautious because I'd seen what happened to other arts organisations in the city who had relied on funding. We had purely relied on our studio holders. So this was a big step for us. We decided to take it. What we'd have to do is build new studios on the Gage in the gallery, which at the time was the largest private gallery in Sheffield. So we'd reduced our gallery down to a third of the size, but we would create new studios, which is what we've done. And this is the new gallery. This is the exhibition that's in there at the moment. And you can see the other side of the wall there are the 6 new studios. Now, what this did for Kayak is it really galvanised us over the last few months, because we had this influx of new artists. Some of them are very well known. including Ethan over there, and they've brought a real new energy to the organisation. So it's an exciting time for us at the moment because we've got a lot of things in the line and you know what is happening. Kayak is also the base for Kinker, Kelham Island Neepsend Community Alliance. So a lot of the Kinker projects that you will see around the city or around Kelham Island have been built in Kinker, by furniture makers and people involved in Kinker. Go to the next slide, please. So we've also created some more exhibition space. This is what we call the upper gallery. So this is to exhibit the artist's work that actually operate within Kinker. So we've got the two spaces now. So as I say, this is work that, so the artists can actually show their work. I take tours around the facility, and so we can show the public this work as well. Okay, next slide, please. So past projects, you'll probably be familiar with these projects. These are things that we've done in the past. So obviously this is my piece of work on Green Lane, Sunrise and Sunset, as part of the Curb Art project that we worked with Situ. We were commissioned by Situ to create this work. That was nearly 6 years ago now. We were only commissioned to do it for 3 years, but it's become part and parcel of the furniture. So we're looking towards upgrading it at the moment because it does need a little bit of work on it to bring it back up to speed. Okay, next project. Next. Another project you'll probably recognise. We've painted all the comms boxes in the area. It took a long time to get the permissions that we needed, but now we have artists who have painted pretty much everything in Kelham Island and Neepsend. The really nice thing about this project is it's now spread further and wider afield. So in Upperthorpe and Walkley, they've taken on board the model that we developed, and you can now, driving around, you can see those boxes. What's really nice is that the telecoms companies took on board the need to have a way of engaging with artists to do this. So it took us about a year to get all our permissions from Virgin and OpenReach. Now, if somebody outside our area wants to paint a box, they have got a form to fill in. It is not the long-winded process that it used to be, and that's really quite a satisfying thing. So, next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to pass over now to Kieran, okay, who is going to take us through more recent developments and things that we are going to be doing.
Hello everyone. That's what am I. So currently what we've got going on, Simon touched upon, we have live drawing classes every Wednesday. The clay classes that we do have expanded. We now have Tuesdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. We offer clay workshops. Trying to get out into the community a bit more. Kelham Pride, as I'm sure you all know, was a massive hit. We did a Pride exhibition at our gallery, so we invited artists from that community to exhibit in our exhibition space. There's no charge for that. We got loads of people in. As part of that, one of our artists, Sarah Prinsloo, she does a workshop once a month down at House Skate Park. She does an art workshop for their multi-genders night. So we got some of the young folk from that night were doing their own designs on skateboard decks, and we had a whole exhibition of the skateboard decks that they'd done their artwork onto. In terms of murals out in the community, Ethan has just done the one up on Blagden's Wall. Thank you for paying him for doing that. And myself and Sarah are going to be doing Grafter's Wall towards the start of August. We've also got a bit of money from the council for that, so thank you for that. Next one. Yeah, next one. There we are, look. So we've just done the chippy as well. Originally was paid to do the chippy first time, and it was looking a bit tired. I'm still not over the fact I didn't get any free fish and chips for doing that. While somehow Simon did, and he didn't do any of the work. Yeah, so I think I've done all the new and ongoing projects. I think I've just covered those. What have we got next? So there's Ethan. So that's the one that's just gone up around the corner. We feel like these are really nice things to do for the community. They're great for the artists because it gets our work out. It's a little calling card for ourselves when we put the stuff out there. Brightens the area up, stops those places getting tagged. Inevitably, when we go to the people who own those walls, or the landlords or whatever, they're always desperate for us to do it. And the artists love doing it. And we've got, as Simon said, we've now got so many new artists in the studio. We've got so many new, keen people who are desperate to do it. It's just a really nice thing for us to be doing. I think, yeah, next one. Is there any more? No, that's it. Are we there? We're done. There we go. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'd just like to just to add on to what Kieran said there. What's interesting for us is when we go out into the community. When I first came here, when I first set up in 2010, 2011, it was definitely a feeling, because obviously this is a major light industry actually thrives here, and it was like, oh, who are these weirdos taking over all this factory space? It's like, it was very strange. But the reception that we've received when we go out and talk to businesses is terrific. Now, we work with the hospitality industry a lot, so I've worked with Joe over here, obviously, and the Milestone Group and the Gardeners Rest. They've very, very, very much wanted to take us on board. And when you go to talk to somebody like Matt at Blagdon's, he's only too keen for us to come and do this. And the Grafters is another example, the one that's going to be done just around the corner in the next couple of weeks. The guys there crying out for this artwork. So the fact that this art and industry is working together side by side really, really effectively is really great. And it was one of the things that was mentioned when Kelham Island won the Best Neighbourhood Award in 2018. That was one of the things that the judges said that they noticed, that the way in which we are working together. And I think that's really important, really strong, and we hope to continue that. Thank you very much indeed for listening. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you so much to both. Just to quickly touch on that before we move on, I feel like Sheffield is such a unique city, so kayak and art initiatives such as that is absolutely important. I think it's one of the essential services of Sheffield. Tourism was at an all-time high last year, which kind of shows a testimony to the attraction that's bringing people to the city. So thank you, both of you. We will be moving on to item number 5, which is Love Kelham. I will hand over to Joe Spriggs, the owner of Alder Bar in Neepsend, who has a presentation for us tonight.
Good evening, everyone. So, I'm Joe. I own Alder Bar, and I've recently just set up Love Kelham, which is a CIC. I'm also a director of Percy Street CIC, which is an amazing CIC, helping neurodivergent young adults developing skills and confidence to make it in the world and hopefully find employment through their services. So, I do have the privilege of being the chair of the new CIC. It's better known as Love Kelham, but it's King Culture CIC. We're a community interest company set up by and for the businesses. We meet every couple of weeks to make running a business in Kelham more collaborative, less stressful, safer, and ultimately more rewarding. Sometimes those meetings are about practical stuff, tackling shared challenges like waste, footfall, staffing, and event coordination. Or sometimes it's just checking in, seeing if everyone's alright, if there's anything we can do as a group together to help each other. It's not revolutionary, but it is working, and we're enjoying it. So, why did we form the CIC? Well, the last year or so, there was a lot of changes to the roads in Kelham, lots of new infrastructure, lots of double yellow lines, business rates going up, costs going up, wages going up, national insurance going up, and I felt there were a lot of stress in the business owners and operators in the area, myself included. So we set up the CIC to work together and work through those problems. And we have this amazing network of passionate people in the area who all wanted to work together, and it just was obvious we needed to formalise. So here we are, and here I am. So I'm going to just talk you through some stuff, what we've done so far, what we've got planned for the future, and what we need from you, potentially. So we've only been officially trading since April, but in that short time we've made some very good progress and we've done some good stuff. So these are just a few of the examples. So one of my favourite things to do is collective bargaining. I love getting people together to get all their resources together and use them to go to suppliers. So one of the things that I did straight away, I used to sell bins in my past life. So first thing I did was get everybody's bin service together and send that off for tender and then get a group rate for everyone. So we did that. We've also done the same for dispense gas. Everybody in Kelham, every bar in Kelham uses CO2 and dispense gas. But we all use different suppliers and all pay different costs. So it was just obvious that we needed to amalgamate everybody's and get one group rate and try and have one supplier. So we've done that. And this may stop so many bin lorries coming down if we all use one instead of like 4 different companies coming into the area. It'll help. We've partnered with Kinker and the Islander magazine to deliver an insert which showcases all of the bars in the area and delivered to 2,000 odd residents in the area. I still owe you money for that, Ben, so thank you. So yeah, big event collaboration as well. So we worked alongside Kelham Pride as the business side of things to make sure that everything ran well. We also did Get Together Festival, worked with those guys, and now we're planning a zone festival, which I'll tell you about soon. We've delivered Ask for Angela training across the area, making Kelham safer and a more supportive area for staff and customers to come down. And there's more training on the way, like first aid, accessibility, safeguarding, all that sort of stuff. We've launched a public-facing brand, which is Love Kelham, which will be which will champion local stories, promote events, celebrate culture and the character of the area. And all that's been done since April voluntarily with the owners and the operators of the bars in the area. So what have we got planned next? In the near future, we're going to be working with Sheffield Action on Plastic to reduce single-use plastic for when we've got big events like Pride. Alder's little bar cannot have that many glasses. We have to use plastics. So we work, and the same for everyone in the area. There's just too many people and not enough glass. So we're going to be working with those guys to reduce single-use plastics. We're planning Kelham Jazz Festival, Sheffield's first jazz festival. It's going to be March 21st, 2026, if you want to get it in your calendars. That's March 21st, 2026. This will be a free one-day jazz festival across 13 venues. We're partnering with a couple of colleges, Waterbear, Sheffield College. We've got a meeting with Leeds Conservatoire next week. And it'll provide young people with real-world work opportunities, so we'll get them to be doing stagehands, sound technician, and even having an open call-out for performances as well. There'll be some big acts in that, but we are going to try and focus on Sheffield artists, young artists, underrepresented ethnicities, and ideally artists from the north of England. We're teaming up with Gillian Scotford from Access Mini Guides, who I'm sure some of you might know, to audit and improve the accessibility across Kelham, from wheelchair routes to sensory-friendly spaces. We're going to need some money for that. Higher education engagement, we're working with Hallam Uni starting in January for students' final year consultancy project, so we're going to get them to help us with Kelham Jazz Festival, get them to help us with marketing for Love Kelham. So I was going to say that I believe that some of these goals align with the local area committee's objectives, but I have been asked to talk here, so I'm assuming some of them do. Economic regeneration through independent business growth is it's a passion of mine. Independent business. I'd hate to see a Costa Coffee down here, and I'd love to see independent business thrive. So please help me do that. Supporting community and well-being, obviously. Let's keep doing that. I think we're doing a really good job at that. Making Sheffield cleaner, greener, and more connected. I think we're on the way to there. I just need to keep plugging away at it. And yeah, we're already doing this work. We're doing it voluntarily. This is just business owners and operators in the area just coming together for this purpose. But we do need some help if we want to scale it up and do more things. So what I'm asking for, or what we are asking for, recognition. We want acknowledgement of King Culture CIC as a formal stakeholder in Kelham's development. We want guidance and navigating the mad council structures and systems that they use, from licensing to event logistics. We want some modest support in the form of either funding, space access, or in-kind contributions, so we can scale what's already working. And we want an open channel for collaboration. So invite us to the table when decisions are being made that affect the area. Kelham Island's a special place. It's got history, energy, character, and most importantly, people who care about its future. And the CIC is about harnessing that. Not waiting for change, but being the change. If anything I've said tonight resonates, if you'd like to collaborate, support, or even just come and see what we're doing, please come and speak to me afterwards. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
From the association point of view, these are a great asset. We've got a partner group now, which is the business side of things. So our community association, although it includes businesses, is mainly around residents. And so to have a peer group that's well organised, there are over 30 bars and pubs on Kelham, and the same amount of cafes and restaurants. So it is a big destination for visitors, and we recognise that. So to harp to one of the LEC's things is this is a great thing for economic regeneration, local regeneration, or local economic development, because we depend on that. We're a destination place. We're not just an ordinary suburb. So it's very, very important to us, and that's why we will be working closely with Love Kelham, because that partnership is very valuable and probably unique at the moment. And so we want to support that, yeah. So, and they're doing a great job. And also raising the quality of what we're providing in the area as well.
Yeah, if we don't have hospitality around here, what really do we have? So,
Thank you. I'm massive on community, and this is like maybe not the pinnacle of community, I don't think you can ever reach it, but what you're doing is literally community in action. You've pointed a few things you want, how to navigate the council system. I say let's do that quickly right now. So you speak to Adio, can we open a chain of conversation? The councillors are in here that will fund you, putting applications in. Obviously I can't dictate it myself. However, I want to support, and I'll put that on record, I'm happy to support Love Kelham. I think the council structure is massive, it's a massive machine, so leaving this meeting might take you forever, but can I just get people to nod? Councillors, are you happy? Do you support Love Kelham? Do you like it? Good, we're doing it now. I'll probably get told off afterwards, but it is what it is. But no, genuinely, I'm massive on community, I'm massive on group economics, I'm massive on centralising things yourself, doing things, seeing gaps yourself, because oftentimes the council's a massive machine and they might not see exactly what the community wants. And what you've just showed us is you know exactly what you need. You've gone and done it yourself, you've got your hands dirty, which shows you're capable. So I think as a council that supports communities, it's a no-brainer to support an organisation that does so much and loved by those around you. So thank you for presenting. Appreciate it. But yeah, can we keep that conversation? It's being recorded anyway, so you can clip it. All right, next item. Give me a second. Also, you teach other communities how to do what you do as well. I think that's massive. Item number 7, Economic Recovery Fund. So I'm going to hand over to Joy Arnott, the manager of the Economic Recovery Fund project, Sheffield City Council, who has an update for us tonight. Thank you, Joy.
Hi everyone. Yeah, this slots in really nicely with what you were talking about, Joe. As you were talking, I was getting really excited, so I'll chat to you after. So I'll just introduce myself a little bit to start with. So I'm from a voluntary sector background, but last year I got involved in round 2 of the Economic Recovery Fund. So I helped groups write their funding applications, and then I ended up being project manager for 2 projects in Greenhill and Low Edges. And then a vacancy came up within the local area committees with South West, South and North East teams to work with some groups who were unsuccessful in getting Economic Recovery Fund funds, but the LACs wanted to support their projects. So briefly, ERF was all about renovating high streets, giving local businesses a boost, and people have done, projects across the city have done all sorts, from street art to planting, to advertising and marketing, a whole range of different projects. So if you just go on to the next slide, I'll just sort of highlight a few projects I've been involved with the local area committees. Hopefully this will give you a bit of inspiration about what can be done in your areas. So in Woodsea, it's this lovely group of people who you see in the middle, probably on the start of their journey to being something like Love Kelham, but they're just at the beginning of their journey. A group called This Is Woodseats, and we've done a range of high street improvements together, so kind of each member of the group had different passions and sort of brought them together. One gentleman is a historian, so he's done a history trail in Woodseats with blue plaques. We've done a range of planting, we've had some benches installed, we've 2 murals have recently been installed, which I haven't got photos of, but if you go on This Is Woodseats Facebook, Instagram, you'll see them. So yeah, I think just to show what can be done with businesses and community people collaborating together, which clearly you're already doing in Kelham, but to inspire others within the central LAC as well. So the next slide, please. So I've worked with North East LAC on a range of improvements across several shopping areas there as well. Things like Christmas lights, thinking about navigating council systems. One thing that took quite a long time, but we got it done, was the jet washing a pavement. It sounds so simple, but just having that link with the council and getting the right people involved to say, come down and look at this pavement, it needs doing. So we got that done, and also supporting with events. I've been involved in trails around shopping areas to get people out walking and visiting their local shops. And then just one more example. So this is Silver Hill, which is a little shopping area in Ecclesall. So I've worked with local businesses to do a few simple high street improvements, and also just going and listening to businesses' concerns, trying to get them to collaborate a little bit, signposting to different, things like parking come up, signposting to the right services. And we created a brand for Silver Hill as well, where every shop tells a story, because it's quite a historic row of shops. Some of the businesses have been there for a lot of years. So just go to the final slide. So just to summarise, and I can talk to people more afterwards if you're interested, sorry. So the Economic Recovery Fund, there were 2 rounds of funding. It's now coming to an end, but we're now looking at the legacy of that, and rather than it just finishing, how can we carry on this type of work and how can we embed it within local area committees? So that's the piece of work that I'm working on at the moment, speaking to the different local area committees, getting out there, meeting with businesses and trying to find a way we can move this forward. So transitioning it into LAC work, sharing good practice. We're also developing some toolkits to make it easier to do things, simple things like lamppost banners, hanging baskets. If you don't know how to do it, it's really hard work, like the telecoms cabinets example. But if we can get all those really simple toolkits on the LAC websites, and that's going to be really easy and empower community groups to be able to do that. So yeah, I think that's about it. So I'd love to chat with some of you, so hopefully we'll get to chat before the end of the meeting. I'll hang around. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joy. Make sure you network with Joy and have a conversation. Thank you. Item number 8, which is Speak to Joy item, and network, because no, definitely, you must. You know, we don't invite people here to just present, right? And to say the Central Act meeting went amazing. I think this part is one of the most important parts where you network between each other and your councillors. And then, you know, get them to nod to certain things that, you know, you would like. So it's the interactive discussion and networking session. It will be 35 minutes. The webcast will be paused during the session. There is no webcast, is there? There is a webcast, just not a live one. I will now hand over to Joe and Simon to discuss that networking session. Joe and Simon. Is that code for me? I think so. Definitely. Well, yeah, do you guys want to leave the networking session? There's breakout spaces and tables. Yeah? It's on a script that I'm reading out from. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so they will be leading the network session. Could everyone, you're on random tables, correct? You're not sat with your friends. If you are, could you stand up and sit with someone that you'd love to speak to on network? In fact, could everyone stand up for a second? Is that okay? Brilliant, thank you. I've been in enough of these meetings where people just stay seated. And those that have presented, could you have a table to yourselves? Councillors, can you spread out on individual tables? And then, yeah, everyone else, feel free to sit on the table. I'll give it 3 minutes. Thank you all. I hope that was a fruitful networking session. What I'd like to do is hear the conversations that was had. So if you go from table to table and you can feedback what those conversations were, if there's anything you want to ask those that presented as well, this is a key opportunity too. I'm sure you might have already done that while networking. So is there a revolving mic? Abu, brilliant. You can start from whatever's easiest for you and then bring it down.
Okay, so we did have a bit of a roundabout discussion around a whole range of things, but we ended up with only tangentially to do with Kelham, but it probably has to do with the LAC, is the recent consultations on the industrial conservation areas, which we had participated in as well, which we thought were absolutely terrible. And it shouldn't have been left up to a consultancy group to drive it. Because they've come out with absolute rubbish. Not all rubbish, but most of it is. I don't know why the quays are not included in the Castlegate conservation area, and we don't know why the Wicker is not its own conservation area. It has a very particular history, and it's got a very particular identity, and the people that live there have a very clear idea what their identity is. And that's not been included. And I think that's probably for the convenience of the consultancy group. So it's very disappointing. Anyway, that's only what we talked about at the end.
Thank you. We just know that.
The rest of it was all really positive stuff about how culture's great, Kelham Island's wonderful, and everything's on the up and up.
My colleagues have gone to the loo, but we just talked about Hillsborough, because there seemed to be a Hillsborough table mainly. I'm going to be big here, thanks, Ruth. But it was about the wonderful Rivelling Co. and what they've been doing. There's also a new phlegm series, four phlegm artworks now in Hillsborough. And there's art going on in the old Wilco building as well, which probably needs better broadcasting, because there's over some holidays there's going to be kids' activities in that old building, creating their own art and stuff. And there was a bit of a discussion about the courtside development in the park, which is a new cafe, and it's quite controversial, and going over time, shall we say. And, it's causing a bit of a stir in some parts of Hillsborough. Anyway, I think that was everything, but I don't know if anyone else. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you, Toad.
We talked about we talked about the funding that we had as an area a few years ago and how that had been used for local businesses development, and how we have a lot more independent businesses now in Hillsborough, and how the funding was used for like planters, the street art, and we've had lots of developments in the area, so we are having a lot more draw, a lot less graffiti, and a lot less, I'm going to say, social problems. It's becoming an area that people do want to visit and hopefully spend more money in.
Thank you very much. But this feedback is important, it is being minuted, and we'll find actions from it as the purpose of the central act, which the officers will circulate to us in email. So, thank you.
Hi. We've been talking around the room a lot about how the young neurodivergent community can often be invisible. I think they are invisible still in Sheffield, despite all the great things that are going on, and Sheffield Autism Partnership Network and different organisations who are pushing them. But they are invisible. They have a fantastic voice and a huge range of creativity, which is unsung still. Some of them are in this room. And I would urge everybody here who's been talking about all this great stuff, Love Kelham, and all the fantastic things that the council are doing, to open their ears and eyes a little bit more, please. Bring people more in, leverage the skills and creativity that exists a lot more than is happening at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do.
Yeah, I'll start and then other people can chip in. And I've moved around the room a little bit. So we've had lots of conversations. One in particular started with a conversation about Walkley and the post office closing, and developed into a bit more of a conversation about social isolation, about elderly people and people with mobility problems getting to their local high streets, and the importance of community transport and local bus links, and the importance of post offices. And we touched on the new banking hubs that have been introduced as well. So that's something for me to go away and look a bit more into. Had a good chat about Love Kelham, about how to make Kelham Island more disability friendly, with a whole range of disabilities, not just thinking about wheelchairs. And yeah, I'm sure there's lots of other things, so I'll pass on in case I've missed anything.
I don't think you missed very much. The issue about socialisation when your local bus goes, and you've got poor mobility, and Walkley, as you know, is very hilly. It means that those people just never get to the back into the community where they can go to their local hairdresser, the chemist, the chiropodist, the doctor, and see all the people that they have got friendships with. That suddenly goes. Something needs to replace that. I understand it would be an expense that we've not identified as yet, but that's something that needs to be done. I'd very much like to see where people who've got spaces for a mural could actually ask, is there other skills or people with knowledge where those places could actually apply for grants? Because at the moment, the bit in Barber Road has drawn a blank in finding anyone that would do that, but I know it's the local people are very keen, but nothing happens yet. Okay.
I can carry that on a little bit. We talked a little bit about the possibility of community organisations or charities getting involved in helping with the people not being able to reach their local shops and things, and whether there was any scope for being able to get people with knowledge to be able to go out into little hubs, community hubs, that we could potentially do online shopping and things like that with people, which would mean that there would be less need for the community transport. Other than that, I'm happy to pass on. I had another great chat with Angela over there as well, around disability and health and social care, which we will continue at a later date.
I'll just chip in a little bit because I floated around various tables, but I suppose my reflection is that actually we have the best LAC meetings in the city here, so well done, guys. We also have the best venues. We also have the best business community in Kelham Island, it seems, and we have the best community organisations. We also have the best public art, and far more of it than anywhere else. Yeah, so well done, Ruth. And just to finish off, we also have the best councillors. Here you go, Angela.
Yeah, I'll just start by saying I'm a Hillsborough lad, and thank you for whatever you've been doing. It looks great, and yeah, it's nice going home now instead of dreading it. So I've spoke to Terry and Joy around disability in Kelham and the access for disabled people. We also talked about how there is no changing places toilet around here, and I think that'd be a really good asset for us.
I think we've got one in the museum.
Oh, it's the one in the museum.
I think that's a change. No, it's not. It's not the a horse. A horse is not. Okay. It's just a all right, we haven't got those toilets. The nearest one is the station. Right.
So yeah, needs to be something done around that. I spoke to Angela around violence against women and making maybe Kelham a pilot for a project to take elsewhere. I spoke to Ruth around getting the free city centre bus to Kelham, and we'll get a letter from all the businesses signed and see if we can get something done there. You good?
And I guess that is all on the tables. Thank you everyone for your input. All of this has been minuted, and like I said, there will be actions derived from each point that is made, and the officers will circulate that to the councillors, and then we will try our best. For example, the information centralised hub. I think that's quite powerful and important, and it's something that will probably be passed to the Walkley councillors in that area, but I guess it's somewhere that all wards could benefit from, so thank you. And I'd like to second Douglas Johnson's point that Central Light has the best councillors. Item number 10, do we have any public questions and petitions? Yep. Beforehand, can we get your name and where you're from before you start?
Jean Morton from Hillsborough. I want to ask councillors if there's a process around speed indicators, because for quite a while now, although we've got some calming measures in around the neighbourhoods in Hillsborough, I've never been able to find out where the indicators are, where they're moving to, and who has a say over where they should be. Thank you.
That's okay, brilliant. Could we pass the mic?
So there was staffing issue, which meant that we were struggling to get that information ourselves. What we have been doing in Hillsborough is there's 4 locations that we were rotating, and we were taking the one that was gathering the lowest speeds out of the rotation, each rotation, if that makes sense, to try and strike a balance between monitoring whether they were being effective, so, you know, are they going down, and also getting new places where residents think that there's a speeding problem in. So the short answer is ask me where you want the next one to be, and we'll put it in the mix for the next one that we take out of rotation. The staffing vacancy has been filled now, so we should be getting back to having better information about where they are, and also getting the data back to you about what information's being gathered, if that makes sense. So
I put a bid in for Cornhouse Nursery, where it was.
Where the broken one that never worked was, yeah.
It did work for a while, but then it's disappeared now. I think it would be a good place because it's at a crossroads where there's the nursery and the school, and people wanting to cross from Far Lane, across Wesley Lane, to get
Yeah. We've put in some stuff to try and improve it around that junction because it's definitely problematic.
Cars go quick.
Yeah.
Because the road is wide. That's the problem.
Well,
Thank you.
probably don't have the money to narrow the road.
If I could just quickly comment, can we take your email, Gene, and then we can confirm via email where the locations they are on the rotations?
I can get on that.
Can you do that, Henry? Thank you. Any more questions? No. Okay, moving on to item 11. This is for the councillors that were at the last meeting. Can members of the committee approve as an accurate record the minutes of the previous meeting held on 8th and 19th of May? Yep. All councillors? Yep. Tom? Brilliant. Anyone else? Brilliant. Thank you. So the next meeting on the Central LAC Committee, that's correct, will be Wednesday the 8th of October 2025. Time and location to be confirmed, and we will be sharing further details in due course. Thank you everybody for your attendance tonight. Thank you everyone for presenting, and I hope you've gained something from it today. Thank you very much.